guys are here.
Why wouldn't we be?
Football. How are you going to get there?
Sound like Solari.
Jeez, you even bring the golf guy here. Damn.
Hey, Coach, we'll start with all easy questions. It looks like you brought a lot of your guys down here. I mean, a lot of excitement around East Lansing right now. The football program doing so well. I mean, basketball starting. What's it mean to you to be the coach at Michigan State? A long tradition, and you've helped build the basketball tradition and just the excitement around the program.
Well, you're right. We have some things going on right now. You know, it's been a rough couple of years, like everybody's gone through. But whenever football starts out good, the rest of us start out good. Mel's done an incredible job there. That's brought a lot of excitement. Our programs are still close. I've been fortunate that every football coach that I've come in, because I've been through 5 of them, 6 of them, that there is a good relationship, and I take my players over to watch practice. After watching one of Mel's practice, Gabe says I'm a piece of cake. I'm a good guy. So it's been good to get them over there. But with basketball starting, it's a little different looking down on, or looking up at some of the Big Ten. We're usually looking down on people, but rightfully so. You know, we haven't earned our stripes yet. We've got some things to prove. There are some very good teams. I think Purdue, Michigan, Illinois all deserve to where they're ranked. Indiana's going to be good. Ohio State is going to be very good. But like most people have said, I don't know if there's many bad teams in our league. You know, it used to be 3 or 4 teams that you knew you'd get 2 wins. And there's nowhere for those to be found. So exciting time in East Lansing. Anytime, we're winning in both sports. And that was the theme through most of the 2009 to 2016, and that's what we want to get back to.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you.
How different is it, like you said, to be looking up instead of looking down?
Sucks, but it's really okay once in a while. I don't want to have a steady diet of it, but I think it brings humility and it brings an understanding, and it kind of reinforces in your own mind, why did we get where we are? What happened? What did we do? Some things aren't all bad, It was a crazy year for everybody, and I think the other way to look at it is, I think our program gets some respect where we're picked by some, because we're unproven yet, and we've got some missing parts, but we've got a lot of parts back that maybe some of them were affected by the year and the way the year went. And I think the addition of a couple guards that are going to really be able to pass the ball and get other people involved, like a Malik Haller, Joey Hauser, Gabe Brown, Max Christie has been every bit the billing. Jaden Akins has been better than I thought. Usually they're worse. And probably the best part is, I've been waiting for Marcus Bingham to mature, and he has matured a lot. He's not a lot heavier, but he's a lot stronger, and we probably had the best spring, summer, and fall. And I look at that and I say, isn't that what coaches say every year? And probably do, but last year we had none. And this year we had a great spring, summer, and fall that I think really helped us so far, and it's going to help us a lot in the future.
For you personally, in this kind of situation, does it make the offseason longer or shorter?
Wow. When I think back, I guess all the off seasons get shorter as you get older, it seems like. But this one seemed longer because I wanted to get back and get the bad taste out of my mouth of that last game. That last game ended just about the way the second half of the season went. We did enough to be 13 points up on a team that went to the Final Four, just like we won some big games, beat 3 top 5 teams at the end, but couldn't consistently be at the level or make some mistakes or miss free throw, miss cutout, bad turnover, those things. And I think some of that goes with guard play, which I didn't think ours was the best. And I think we had to improve in that area. I think we have improved in that area a lot.
Coach, can I just get a picture?
some of you guys who didn't have a great last year, maybe like a Joey Howard, how much are they going to benefit from having, increased point guard?
Well, I think both point guards have really improved. When you see uh, AJ Hogart, he's 20 some pounds lighter, and when you, I think, get a real view of the way that Tyson plays. I mean, he just makes people better, but he defends the ball and he can push the ball. In my mind, for Michigan State, we had no fast break last year in comparison. I think that'll improve. Shooters were open, didn't get the ball. I think that'll improve. So it's not just one person, it's one person makes other people. I think Joey and Malik were two guys that COVID affected everybody differently. It wasn't a great year for them, but they both had great summers and really excited. Joey's been passing and shooting the ball very well, and Malik has improved his shooting a lot. So there's a lot of positive things. It's just getting our 7, 8, 9-man playing group now together, and once we do that, I think we'll make some progress.
Tom, you talk a lot about the process with these guys, and we're always in a hurry. But for a guy like Malik now in his third year, does this feel like this is a guy who's showing that the process works? Because he was talking last week about wanting to leave and all these things he wants to do this year. Are you seeing that from him?
I really am, and the process. It's almost like a foreign language now. That word is not even in the dictionary anymore. It's like accountability and some of those words. Winning sometimes. I think branding should be the front of every dictionary. Webster should rewrite the damn thing. But I do believe, it made me laugh just looking at you. I want you to know that. I do believe that, the guys that have matured, you look at Williams from Purdue, you look at some of these other guys, Kobe staying in school, Brooks at Michigan. I mean, those guys are going to have big impacts on their teams, I believe. There's nothing like experience. You can say talent overcomes experience. It depends how young the talent is. And I say that, and we think we've got as talented as a freshman is in the league, and Max Christie. But thank God he's got maturity too, and intelligence both on the court and off. So those things help speed the process, but there's still a process.
Well, do you see him? You talked about doing a lot of three also. How important is that versatility for him? Do you see him kind of being able to do a lot of?
I think this day and age, like our league, whoever thought we'd end up with 4 or 5, I mean, big guys. I mean, it hasn't been that way, and so I think you have to have versatility both ways. But you look at the end of last year, we beat 3 teams in the top 5, and we went to a real small lineup. Gabe was starting at the 3, and Aaron was starting at the 4. So it's going to be who battles who in the chess match. But sometimes I think we're going to have to go big, and sometimes I think we can go smaller. I think we can go Joey and Malik in there together some, and we can put Malik at the 3 and make us a bigger team. We can put him at the 4 and even Joey at the 5. I mean, we can move some people around. And I think some of our best teams have been when we had the versatility to move people around.
Aaron was a guy that you went to for buckets late in games last season. Do you see a guy like that emerging on this year's team? Or is it going to have to?
That's exactly the word. We need one to emerge, and as we start practicing now for real, with 31 days left for our first game, that's what we're looking for as coaches. What do these point guards bring? One year we had Cassius, one year we had Aaron. It's nice to get a guy who can post up and make free throws, and I think both Malik and Joey can do that. I think Gabe's going to be able to do some of that, but I think we have point guards that get in the paint this year a little more and make some decisions. It's not only getting there, it's making decisions when you get there, and that's going to make us, I think, a better basketball team.
So when Roy retires and when Mike announces his retirement, is that another vivid reminder that the clock moves on for everybody, including you?
I hate when people put me in that same 10 year. I got 10 years on those guys on one of them, but I think I get what you're saying. If it could be 2 years, it could be 10 years, but I'm gonna do it till I feel like I'm giving the game something. If I always said if I quit taking red eyes, like I took one this year from California, if I quit taking red eyes and things like that, it's time to hang it up. But COVID has been good to me that I think I got in better shape. Instead of sitting around, I rode my Peloton to death, and so I feel actually better than I felt. And I think having to reassess yourself, you have a year that doesn't go well, and I don't hold it all on me. I don't hold it on my staff. I don't hold it on my players. It was a bizarre year. Some people went through COVID, some didn't. Some accepted it better than others. The bottom line is we didn't get the job done. We had chances to win games. 17-point lead against Purdue, didn't win it. 13-point lead against UCLA, they go to a final where didn't win it. Beating 3 ranked teams, we did enough, but were we a top 20 team? I didn't think so. I really didn't. So we got to get back to our defense matters. Last year was one of the worst statistical defensive teams I've had. And so defense still matters. Our running game matters. Our rebounding matters. I think we're going to be better shooting the ball and scoring the ball this year. And if we do all those things, I think I'm going to coach for a lot more years because those things make you want to, do some things. But I feel the new energy. It's been great having Mel there. D'Antonio's one of my best friends, but he too, he's an uplifting guy that I think there's a lot of energy. Alan Haller being the AD now, I just think, it starts at the top. You get a core group together and you all have dreams and goals. Susie's got a very good team this year. I think there's a lot of energy, as was asked earlier, and that helps me say, you know what, I want to go longer, a lot longer. Now, I would admit, I think it's the case with some of the people you're seeing retiring. I think some of these rules and these changes, people are questioning. I, for one. And so it's not only how you feel, it's how do you feel about the game and how do you feel about going to work every day.
Hey, Coach, welcome back from Iron Mountain there. Always happy to have you in our city in Indianapolis. You've always prided yourself in having players, strong minds, strong bodies. How much did the physical health and the mental health aspects get pushed last year with the uncertainty of the situation, how chaotic it was?
Yeah, I think it hurt us. Definitely didn't have as strong of bodies. Couldn't do nothing all summer, just about. And then, when you struggle a little bit, then mentally, as we all know, mental health is getting to be a big issue. And when certain kids handled it, certain kids didn't handle it. I look back that I handled it very well. So I got to reassess myself. But in general, um, when a bad year is making the NCAA tournament, beating some ranked teams, doing this and doing that, I think the program's in a pretty solid position. I think 3 out of those 4 years, we had won the Big Ten championship. We went to a Final Four in 19, and I swear in 20, that team might have been as good or better at the same time when we got called short of finishing the season. So I look at the last 5 years, and one, I guess, disappointing year, but 4 of the other 5 were championships and Final Fours, and that's what it's about here, and that's what we're going to keep it about. I don't plan on dropping off any, just that the competition's getting stronger. And I wouldn't read into either, why didn't the Big Ten do better last year in the tournament? Matchups are matchups. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, we might have been the worst Big Ten team to make the tournament. And we might have had the chance to get to a Final Four if we could have beat UCLA, because then there was an upset in our bracket and things happen, So it happens. And yet I was surprised some of the teams that went out early.
I'm curious your thoughts about Dane's return to his alma mater. He made it sound like you kind of gave him your blessing to do it, and just your thoughts about what kind of coach Indiana's given.
Well, you know what? It was a good deal for Dane, even though he's a Michigan kid. His heart, I remember recruiting Dane, and if it would have been anybody else but Bobby Knight, I think we would have got Dane personally. His dad played at Michigan. I think we could have beat Michigan on him at the time. It was he was an Indiana guy. I think he tried to get me to wear green and white striped warm-ups. I wouldn't do that, but I think he was pushing the envelope a little bit. But I think it's a great situation for him. It's good for Mike. He's got a guy that's been in the league and has been 10 years in the league in a position. He played there. Like myself, getting Mark Montgomery back, when you get homegrown guys are important at this level, I think. That's my own opinion, but so other than 2 games a year, I wish him all the luck in the world.
Tom, I'm curious.
Six legit player of the year candidates in this league. You don't have, when you look at taking a team unit going against the league that has such star power, how does that work?
Makes me feel at home. There's been a lot of years that I didn't have a candidate, and we went to Final Fours. But all kidding aside, the ones that have it deserve it. In our situation, it just didn't work out that way. But a couple of our young guys, I think we got some candidates for Freshman of the Year in our league. I think we also have some candidates that, who knows, where's Gabe Brown? Where was Morris Peterson at that time? What's going to happen? I don't think anybody's seen the real Joey Hauser. I love the kid. I think he's got a chance to be really, really, really good. And then Malik Hall, Marcus Bingham has had a good year, but the ones that are ranked that way deserve to be ranked that way. They've earned that. The process has earned them that. And Player of the Years don't win championships. They help teams win championships, but I think teams win championships, and that's what I'm hoping that we have. The hardest thing for me is I think right now we're a lot better than we were last year. 30 days for the first game, I think we're a lot better. We started out 6-0 last year, beat Duke and Notre Dame, but I think we're a lot better. What is hard to do in a meeting room is, where's everybody else? And I know Purdue's got everybody back, including Purdue Pete, or Pete Purdue, or Gene Katie's cousin, whatever that guy is that walks around with a hammer. But we know what they have. We know what Illinois has. We have a pretty good idea what Michigan has. But then there's a lot of unknowns. And because of that, are one transfer going to fit in? What about teams that have 3 or 4? Does that work as a positive? Does that work as a negative? How will they do if they're not playing? There's so many factors that are going to go on this year. It's going to drive everybody nuts. It's going to drive coaches nuts. It's going to drive media nuts. Unfortunately for me, we have 600,000 living alums. It's going to drive all them nuts. But it's going to be, I think, exciting too, because I don't think it'll be the traditional way of getting there. How you start is going to be important. Confidence is going to be important. The way everybody's confidence is rocked this day and age, because of your favorite subject, my least favorite, the social media, and how we all handle that. I mean, we have guys. I mean, I know of programs in football right now. One out west, that quarterback was starting 3 games, got replaced because they were down 24-0. He was a transfer. He quit the next day and transferred again. What is going to happen to some of these things? And these are the unintended consequences that I worry about in our profession and for our players.
Hey, Tom, I was wondering if you could speak a little bit on the disparities between men and women's basketball and how you and Susie kind of support each other's programs.
I don't know everything. I mean, I heard all the things in the Final Four. I've heard different versions of it. All I know is I've been a big proponent of women's sports in ours, and Susie and I do get along really well. I think we work together on things to get situations right and get them to be as fair as they can be. I don't understand everything about Title IX, but I do appreciate having a daughter and a wife that opportunities are needed and should be. I mean, nothing I hate more is when programs are struggling, and yet you look at the amount that they're funded or what they get or what they don't get, and what different people have to go through. So it's hard, and it's why I struggle a little bit with some people that say college men's basketball gets everything. Well, part of it is we have to fund other programs, and same with football. And I think they get a bad look there. But at our place, I will say this. First of all, Susie's awesome. It's been great for me, great for us. We share a gym at times. We just never have issues. We help each other recruit. But I will say this about Michigan State. I've never seen or heard of a university that as many of the other sports all get along. Our women's softball, our volleyball. My players go to a lot of volleyball games, hockey, football, of course. We're all down on the sidelines. We got something neat going, and if we can get things back to where they were, and one of them is to get some of our women's sports now, we're doing better in soccer. That's going to be a very important. We're doing a little better in lacrosse, the field hockey. That's going to be important. A great athletic department is one that our men's and women's programs are all playing for championships. That's all Susie has asked for. She doesn't complain about a lot of things, but some things where the disparity is so great, there should be some complaining.
Tom, I know it. There's a couple of guys over at football that have talked about maybe coming over playing for you after this season. Are you still expecting that to happen? And what's kind of the challenge?
Mel keeps winning. That'll be in March, whenever. So I hope I don't get him early. But yeah, there's been an open door for a couple of those guys, and rightfully so. There's two pretty good players over there, but that's something Mel and I have worked out since day one in the recruiting process. And as you know, at Michigan State, it has happened before. In fact, ironically, Matt Trannon was back this past weekend, and it was so good to see him because I dragged him off the football field after his last game, and I believe he didn't start but played a lot against Kevin Durant when we played Texas in our first or second game in Madison Square Garden, and then he started for us in the Final Four that year. So I love football guys, I do, but I love Mel and him winning more. So those guys take care of football business, and then I'll get those helmet heads to be basketball players if it happens. Well, Hinkle was one of my bucket list things, the Palestra was one. Seems like every time I go play somewhere that's a bucket list, the aircraft carrier, I lose. Okay, so that's not so good. But it is, the Palestra was unbelievable. And Hinkle, if we would have beat UCLA, we would have played there last year, and we didn't. And so when we had the opportunity to do this, I thought it was great. They're a good team. They're very well coached. So yeah, it is a bucket list thing, and we'll see if we can Hoosier it. What's left in the bucket? I think I want to take a game to the UP. Maybe I did a favor for Pat. We played at the Palestra when he was at. Maybe somebody will play me up in northern Michigan or something. Maybe Michigan wants to go up there or something. Take a couple of sleds up there and really get after it a little bit. But I don't know. I don't have many bucket list things left. When you've been in it 100 years, there's only so many places that you haven't played. And I've played in. Man, I played in a lot of places because we played in a lot of big games, and I don't know. Hopefully that'll continue, though. Every experience is a memory maker for me, and I remember, the aircraft. I remember going over to Germany. I remember the Ford Field thing that has made it so Final Fours are in this building. We've done some pretty cool things that are beyond basketball, and so I don't know. If my players have a bucket list thing, maybe I'll start looking to them since I've used up most of mine.
Hey, Tom, with Tyson's ability in ball screens, how much does that kind of reopen certain things that you were able to do maybe with Cassius, and how much of a asset to Joey is having a point guard like
I I think you're talking like a coach, which is a little scary for me, knowing your golf ability and your newfound love for golf. But I would say that it's a very good point, Brendan. Seriously, it's you know I mean, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Tom Brady is one of my favorite guys because even though he's from the wrong school, the guy's unbelievable and what he does and how he can take different receivers, different people. You can't be a great receiver without a great quarterback, and you can't be a great shooter without a great point guard. I think Morris became great because of the team. Charlie became better. J.R. Richardson became better because of that. Everybody became better. I would have loved to see Joey play with Cassius. It's a very good point, and so that's why I'm excited about where we can go. Now, I haven't seen AJ play at his new weight. I haven't seen Tyson play. They're both capable of getting in the paint. One's strong enough, one's really athletic, and um, how that translates into competition now, I'm looking forward to seeing myself. So I like what I see. I like the fact that I think we're shooting better. I think one of the reasons we're getting passes where they belong a little better than we did.
You mentioned up on the phone, you've talked about it too, about conference play, 20 games, earning your stripes through that. But we saw last year how the Big Ten didn't quite fare that well in the NCAA tournament. Can you point to anything that maybe explains that, or do you think it gets kind of overblown a little bit, just the NCAA tournament?
Bad officiating, maybe. You know, I don't know. I've always scheduled tough since day one, since John Chaney told me what to do, and I listened to him seriously. And I've done it because that's one game, and you get to see where you are in that one game. The NCAA tournament is brutal. You can talk about pro sports all you want. Best of seven, the best teams are usually going to win. But one and done time, I don't care if it's the Lakers or the Celtics. I don't care if it's Golden State or New Jersey or San Antonio. One game, different things happen. And, I was pulling for all Big Ten teams. But when I think that we had a team 13 down and outplayed them most of the game, and then that team goes on to a Final Four, it doesn't mean that we would have. But I think you get some idea that my favorite and least favorite one is still Middle Tennessee because I thought we had one of our best teams. And I thought we played really well. Against Syracuse, one of my best teams, we played awful. But against Middle Tennessee, we shot well. We shot well from the three. We didn't turn the ball over. They just played better. And I don't look at the NCAA tournament. I know you have to as a reporter. You have to as a fan. Well, the Big Ten, sucked during the tournament, okay? And we did. But I don't think it was for any given reason. I just think bad matchups or we didn't play as well that day. In football, eventually you can wear somebody down. In basketball, eventually that little orange thing's got to go through that hoop. And if it doesn't on that day, there can be problems. So I don't know. Maybe that's an excuse. Maybe it's a reality. But I don't think there was anything wrong. I think last year, Michigan, Illinois, Iowa, they were all very, very good teams that deserved Purdue. And they got beat. They got upset. It would have been ironic if we were the worst team and that could have made the longest run. But that's the way it is in that tournament. That tournament is brutal. And don't kid yourself. I said all along, you got to be good enough to be in it and have a chance to win. Then you got to be lucky. And I mean that. Injuries could be luck. Bad calls could be luck. A hot team, Middle Tennessee, could be luck. We were one of the best defensive teams in the country that year, and they scorched us, So I don't know how I answered that question, but.
You guys got time for one more question.
Tom, Gabe and Malik across the way seem almost hell bent on making sure that we know that they don't feel any pressure this season, not to surpass expectations or live up to them. You guys, preseason, sitting in near the middle of the pack, does does that make it easier on you for pressure, or are you like them? You don't really feel it. You're just trying to go out there and take it day by day.
Well, it sure as hell doesn't make me feel better.
Yeah.
And it sure as hell doesn't take any pressure off me. So they might be giving you, you know, political answer. They might believe that I don't want them to have pressure on them. I want them to live up to their own expectations. I mean, they didn't come here to let's go finish fifth. You know, I mean, those kind of battle cries are, you know, I don't know where they do those kind of battle cries, but you know, let's go lose the war. You know, I mean, I can't figure out that, but I do say that I'm excited about the chance to maybe do better than our ranking, but I don't want to be down fifth. You know, very often. I'd rather the pressure, and but I don't look at it any different either. There's pressure on us. The program has pressure, and that's good pressure. It really is. I mean, that's a labor of love for a long period of time to earn the fact to have the pressure, and we've earned that, and so now we got to live with it. And I think what happens when you are picked lower, when you aren't ranked as high, you readjust yourself just like we all did during the pandemic. You know, you cut some of the fat off, you figure out what you got to do a better job. For me, I got to put guys in a better place to be successful, not just plug them in. So everybody, coaches got to do a better job, fans got to do a better job, media's got to do a better job. No, everybody's got to do a better job. You know what I mean? Is that it? Or are you really?
Brendan's got some golf questions for you.
Can I take one golf question? What was it like to play with Jack Nicklaus?
That's my question for you.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Bucket list. Where's my guy to ask about bucket list?
Hey, the lessons Trevino gave you, have you used them at all?
That worked out. I tried that. We just thing on the wedges.
Yeah.
That worked.
Well, if it worked for you, all you guys should go and look that up, because if it worked for a non-athlete, you should be able to do a hell of a job.